We just got announced in Deadline last week. We also got rejected by a major actor a few weeks ago, and there's one key shift that we just made that is better positioning our film for success. Welcome back to the next film. Today I am coming at you live from my office, and I just wanted to share 3 mistakes that I've already made during this process of making my next feature and share them with you, so hopefully you don't make them too. So the first mistake I was making was the way that I was reaching out to press. And in case you missed it, my second feature just got featured in Deadline. And one thing that I did differently this time around was how I emailed them. And the main thing is not including attachments in the email. Now, I will mention I did try to get this pretty much same article sent out maybe like 2 or 3 months ago through a publicist, and they passed on it. So I definitely think timing is everything, because Emma was just announced in The Boys and the season premiered. Then, they paid attention and the timing of that really aligned. But anytime I tried to reach out to them in the past, I was sending an attachment in the email. Now, in case you haven't heard this advice for managers, agents, because they don't receive unsolicited materials, you never send an attachment because they'll automatically delete it. Now, I didn't know this was also the case for press. And I was advised by a sales agent in the past to send a attachment of a doc, not a PDF, but like a doc with the press release and the photos. And I've never got a response. And I recently just learned that you're not supposed to do that, no attachments. So the way that it should be formatted is to just put everything in the email itself. So, whatever, like I literally put the most basic email. To be honest, I thought that they were just gonna pass. So I think I was just like, hey, for your consideration, like something so simple, which maybe that's why I actually got it through this time, because I didn't really care. And then underneath all my email was the actual press release itself. So I had, the title or the headline in bold, and then the actual press release. And for the photos then, again, not sending them as attachments, but you need to include the name of the actors and the photo credit. And so, you put a hyperlink to a third-party site to where they can download the photos if they decide to use your press release. So that way they're not asking you for materials, because really you just want to make it as simple for them as possible so they don't have to think twice. So I, uploaded our photos to Dropbox, and then in the caption or the title of the photo, I put the actor name and then parentheses the photo credit of whatever photographer took the photo. And then, you put that hyperlink underneath the press release. And I think the text that I just put was just like, photos available for download via Dropbox, just so they knew like it wasn't like a spam link or anything like that. I think I sent it at like 7:40 in the morning. I was told that, the morning is best because they're usually deciding what they're going to be putting out for the day around that early morning time, like 7 to 9 or something like that. I think they responded in like 5 minutes and were like, yeah, let me just check with this one person. And the other person was like, yeah, sure. And then it was up like an hour later. It's actually insane how easy it ended up being. But again, I think timing had to do with all of it. I have been passed by my first film from Deadline through a publicist itself, and so you can always go that route too. But I did not spend a single dime on getting this press release, so it's doable when the timing aligns and you have something that they're interested in. So the second mistake I made was making an offer too early. And first of all, I want to preface that this is not there's so many ways to get actors attached, and I don't think this is the case for all actors, but in our case specifically, we had reached out to one of the top actors of the moment, and we were encouraged by management to shoot for the stars, and because you never know, and both us and our managers really believe in the film and the script and us. And we also had a connection to this person's rep, like one of our managers was a friend with them, so we were confident that we'd be able to at least get through or at least get seen, but honestly, I don't think that the actor ever got the script. When we sent it, I think it went like a week without any response. So our manager had followed up actually for us, and I think just in a few minutes we got a thank you, but we're gonna pass. And there are a ton of reasons why they would be passing. I mean, it's a wild genre film, so there's that. They are, like I said, very popular. So we're competing with people like A24, Netflix. Obviously, like they could also just be busy. But what I've come to learn after meeting a casting director who is at the top of the game and has been doing this for a long time is that those big actors, like the top of the top, their reps aren't going to be reading a script or passing it along if you're not fully financed. And we did mention in the email that we were only partially financed. And I think because we weren't fully financed, they didn't even bother to read it or pass it along to their client. And I totally get it. If you think about it, if they're receiving, tons of scripts, there's literally only so much time to read stuff on top of, what projects you're actually going to do when you're considering. Clearly, you're not going to, pay attention to a film that's not fully financed if you're getting all these other offers of things that are fully financed and going into production. Because why would you waste your time reading something or sending something along if you don't have full confidence in it, going into production and getting greenlit? Granted, of course, we have that confidence, but sometimes it's hard to ask, strangers to believe in that too. So I think that if we had waited till we were fully financed to make that offer to this top person, we might have had more of a chance, and who knows what would happen. But looking back, I definitely feel like that was the case. And so in the future, I will be waiting till either we are fully financed to make an offer to a top actor, or if you have a connection directly to them or someone who can speak to your behalf, or if you have a veteran producer on it who's known for getting things, green, not only into production, but having major success. So lesson learned. So the third thing that I've come to learn is just thinking about how to best strategize and package the film. And this might be a little unique to my film specifically because I am the writer-director, but also I'm producing the film and I'm acting in the film. And I did bring on a producer so that way, it wasn't just me, and she sends emails out on my behalf or the film's behalf. We also sometimes have our managers do that for us as well, but she's also acting in the film. And she's mostly just has acting credits. And so because of that, we quickly noticed we felt like we weren't putting our best foot forward and started to realize that we wanted to bring on a casting director. And granted, we could just continue to make offers on our own or through our managers, which they're happy to do. And they're legit management companies and, they're able to get through to certain actors. I have a lot of producer friends that is what they do and that's what works well for them. And they make the offers themselves, or they just cast from their network or using the connections that they have. But I just felt like I wasn't getting through the way I wanted to, and I needed a way to make others believe that the film was more legitimate. And to be honest, even when I receive audition requests or offers from my manager and it's just one name in all of the roles, I do kind of question the quality or the legitimacy of the film if it's someone that you don't recognize. Granted, if you're Cooper Rife and had a film bought out of Sundance for $17 million that you're, doing all those roles on, you can get away with it. But I was not Cooper Rife, and my first film, while it did well, did not premiere at one of the top festivals. And so as ambitious and optimistic as I am, I'm also able to look at the reality and how other people are maybe seeing it through the lens. And granted, I believe in this film. I know that it might be a little bit harder for other people to get on board. So we found a casting director who came highly recommended from our managers and then also from filmmaker friends. And we had a quick meeting. It went so well. We instantly clicked with her. She really just felt like someone who would be great to work with, which is the most important thing, is being able to work well with someone. But something that's key here is that this is also a strategy. And that is that she has these indie darlings under her belt, films that have premiered at Sundance, South by Southwest. She just had 2 films there. She had 2 films at Sundance this past year. She had one of the favorite Sundance films of the year, either last year or 2 years ago. She's also done some studio films. And granted, that's not us clout chasing, but the fact that she really gets the film, which is huge because it's kind of a wild film, but she not only gets it, she is excited by the material. She already had great ideas in our meeting and things like that. So all of that aside, because those are the most important things. But when we send it out to reps now, it's not just any indie film. It's a prestigious indie film. So they see her name and it's like, oh, she believes in this film and these people who are making it and also acting in it. And this is going to be not just any random indie film. It's going to be a film that will go on to a big festival, and it's, you know, it could potentially be a standout, a breakout. It's going to have a talented cast and crew attached to it, because that's what this casting director, those are the types of films that she gets on board to. Instead of us trying to convince people, this single strategy move now easily communicates that to people. So those are just a few things that I've learned so far. There are some more, but we're kind of still in the process of some things, so I will share them at a later date. I'm sure there's also going to be things along the journey that I hopefully not make mistakes on, but at least lessons that I've learned that I will also continue to share. Thanks so much for watching, and stay tuned for next week. We have Leah McKendrick on the show, and I think she's such a badass. I'm so excited to talk to her about her first two features. Scrambled, which was her directorial debut, and then MFA, which she wrote and produced and acted in. It's kind of like my film, so I'm excited to dig into those two. She's also making a film for Netflix at the moment, so I'm excited to learn what lessons she's taking away from her first two indie features that are going into this next film.